Hello and welcome. You're watching UATV News with me, Ksenia Bugay. First, this hour, large-scale fires in the east of Ukraine have been contained. In Kharkiv region, there is no longer any open seats of fire in the forest. Instead, a few more beds of fire were registered in Luhansk region. But the situation has been taken under control. This was stated by the head of the Luhansk Regional State Administration. 2 days ago, in Luhansk region, fire swept through more than 1,200 hectares of forest. One rescuer was killed, 2 more people got wounded. In Kharkiv region, the wild forest area of about 600 hectares had been destroyed. The village of Horobivka has been completely burned down, with 30 families got homeless. 900 ceasefire violations in Donbas were recorded by the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission to Ukraine over the past 5 weeks. Between July 27th and September 3rd, illegal armed groups made 152 explosions, launched 13 elimination flares, and fired 741 machine guns. In addition, the observers using a drone identified 23 landmines belonging to illegal armed groups near the destroyed Donetsk airport. On July 22nd, the Trilateral Contact Group agreed on a full and comprehensive ceasefire in Donbas. No casualties have been reported among Ukrainian servicemen since July 27th. According to a public utility company in the annexed Crimea in the city of Simferopol, water reserve will run off in the next 2 months, taking into account the scheduled water supply. Local water basins can be filled only by means of precipitations on the northern walls of the Crimean mountains, and only in case it rains for at least 3 months. The peninsula's self-proclaimed authorities are preparing for a worst-case scenario. The so-called head of the Autonomous Republic, Sergei Aksyonov, does not rule out that Russia recognizes an emergency situation with water supply in Crimea. The higher school admission campaign for displaced applicants is ongoing. This year, the term for applications has been extended until October 23rd. Future students from the temporarily occupied territories of Donbas and Crimea can submit their applications to any Ukrainian university. Like the rest of the applicants, the internally displaced persons are guaranteed to receive scholarships and housing for the entire duration of their studies. However, in addition to this, displaced students can count on more social guarantees from the state. Our correspondent was learning what it is and how we can use it.
Since 2017, Donetsk resident Dasha has been a student of the Tavrida National Vernadsky University. She studies well, so the student receives an educational scholarship. In addition, the state provided her with a social fellowship.
My academic fellowship amounts to $50.5 now, and the social one is slightly more than $48. I receive an allowance for food and both types of fellowship, social and academic, since I'm an orphan.
4 years ago, Tavrida University moved from the annexed Crimea to Kyiv. Here they are aware of the problems of students given the status of temporarily displaced persons. Therefore, even students without a scholarship are allowed to pay for their education by installments. They are allowed to set the suitable term of payments. It can be once a quarter or even once a month. We also allow them to accumulate debts. Internally displaced students are also provided with housing in dormitories. Moreover, they are offered a discount, and students of vocational colleges get their lodging free of charge.
The privilege lies in that the university gives them an opportunity to pay 50% less than the settled price for a standard dormitory room.
Also, internally displaced students are allowed to get a social fellowship. If they have already received an educational one, it is up to them to choose between the 2 options.
They have the right to choose the type of fellowship that is the most beneficial for them. For instance, those students who receive $58 of an educational fellowship, which is higher than social allowance, $43. They can choose any of these. In such case, they may prefer the higher benefit.
Also, an internally displaced student who failed to qualify for the government scholarship is under priority among other contestants for the right to shift to the budget form of education. Still, the social fellowship is not that easy to get.
I would recommend to contact directly the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. Quite often, such disputes over the social fellowship are immediately settled upon the request. It's not possible to reach an agreement, then suing is also an option, and the juridical practice shows, in the majority of cases, courts take this side of a student.
Internally displaced students can also seek the assistance of a lawyer provided by some non-governmental organizations and foundations that work with IDP, for example, Crimea SOS, Donbas SOS. Reported by Roman Smoler, UATV News.
To create conditions for the development of IT sphere, stop the outflow of local specialists, and make Ukraine attractive for foreign investments. For this, a virtual economic zone with a favorable climate for the development of innovative and technological business will be created. It is all about the Dia City Virtual Hub launched by the Ministry of Digital Transformation. It will add to making Ukraine able to attract investments from abroad and develop new competitive technologies. At the moment, the ministry has been preparing bills to simplify taxation, liberalize labor relations, and strengthen protection against illegal interference in the work of information technology companies. Launch is expected before the end of this year.
Ukraine ranks third in the world as regards outsourcing of IT services. Our country is rich in the IT specialists engaged in product development for other countries. Now we want the best software to be developed in our own country. Dia City can be considered as one of the best tax systems in the world. We want our specialists and companies to pay less taxes and create more jobs. Moreover, the state budget will benefit from honest reporting of real salaries in IT industry.
Total conformance between the assassination attempt on Alexei Navalny and Sergei Skripal poisoning, the Kremlin is ready for a dialogue with the international community. However, Russia is not willing to investigate the poisoning of an opposition politician, which more details in the following report.
Russian opposition politician Alexei Navalny was poisoned with a Novichok-class substance. This was stated by the Secretary General of the North Atlantic Alliance Jens Stoltenberg during an emergency meeting of the ambassadors of the NATO member states.
Germany briefed allies on the findings of their special laboratory. There is proof beyond doubt that Mr. Navalny was poisoned by using military nerve-grade agent from the Novichok group.
The Kremlin says it has not received any evidence of Navalny's poisoning from the German authorities. German experts have managed to trace some poisonous substance. We are counting on further dialogue with our German colleagues. During it, we will be able to get the information regarding the kind of the substance. Apparently, Russia is not willing to conduct an investigation. A Moscow court dismissed a complaint filed by the Anti-Corruption Foundation's lawyer regarding connection of Russia's investigative committee to Navalny's poisoning. We will appeal to the Moscow City Court, and we are going to demand that the inaction that lies in refusal to consider the application and initiate a criminal case on the fact of the deliberate poisoning of Alexei Navalny be declared illegal. The politician's close circle doubts that Moscow will conduct a transparent investigation.
Mr. Putin is cynical enough, and he used to it. He was not held responsible for the shooting of Boeing MH17. He was not held responsible for annexation of Crimea and civil war in Ukraine. So he actually did already a lot of crimes and was not held responsible for. So I don't believe that there will be like independent investigation in Russia.
The fact of the Kremlin's repeated crimes was also noted by the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry. Dmytro Kuleba called on the international community to respond to Russia's actions and proposed to strengthen sanctions.
Безкарність лише спонукає російську.
Impunity only encourages the Russian Federation to take new aggressive actions and commit new crimes. Therefore, Ukraine assumes that now our partners and all those who oppose the aggressive policy of the Russian Federation must use effective mechanisms to influence the state, including the application of sanctions. This is not the first time that the Kremlin tries to neutralize unwanted opposition politicians. The recent poisoning in British Salisbury is one of the most notorious assaults. Russia's main intelligence directorate officers inflicted poison on the door handle of the house of former Russian intelligence officer Sergei Skripal and his daughter. Reported by Roman Smolar, UATV News.
Audio tours in Ukrainian language have been launched at the Latvian National Museum of Arts. The project was agreed last October during the visit of Ukrainian President to Riga. The first audio guide had been tested on the students of Riga Ukrainian Secondary School. The mobile application's most interesting feature lies in its navigation that includes the augmented reality elements. Actually, this is the third audio guide from the planned series, since art lovers have already got the possibility to hear Ukrainian in Albertina Art Gallery in Vienna and in the National Carpet Museum in Baku. Similar applications will soon appear in the Austrian Art History Museum and the Montenegrin Maritime Museum. Everyone had the opportunity to find something interesting using your mobile device. You can point it to where you want and it gives you the information about the artwork. So I've got absolutely positive impressions. Thanks for such projects, because this is a really valuable contribution in the Ukrainian language and means much for the Ukrainians. That was our final story this hour. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. More updates on our official website, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter pages.